You are standing in tall grass. An animal twice your size is 40 feet away. You have no gun, no bow, nothing but a sharpened stick in your hand. Your heart is pounding. One wrong move, and this could be the last thing you ever do. For most of human history, this wasn't a movie scene. This was Tuesday. For nearly 2 million years, hunting meant getting close. Dangerously close. And for most of that time, humans lost that fight more often than they won it. Then something changed. Not your muscles. Not your speed. Your tools. That shift didn't just change dinner. It rewired your brain, your social groups, and the path of your entire species. So how did a handful of sharpened sticks turn the most vulnerable primate on the savannah into its most efficient predator? The earliest weapons weren't weapons in the way you'd picture one. Just sticks, snapped off trees and sharpened with a stone edge. No metal, no fire-hardened tips at first. Just a point. In 1994, at a coal mine near Schöningen, Germany, archaeologist Hartmut Thieme uncovered something that shouldn't have existed. Wooden spears, nearly 300,000 years old, preserved in waterlogged clay. Balanced like modern javelins, weighted toward the front, clearly shaped by someone who understood aerodynamics without ever writing the word down. Before anatomically modern humans even existed, someone was already engineering for distance. But a spear you carry is a spear you have to get close with. And getting close to a bison, a mammoth, or a cave lion is not a plan. It's a gamble. So the next leap wasn't a new weapon. It was a new idea. What if the weapon could leave your hand before the animal ever saw you coming? This is where the throwing spear enters. Lighter, thinner, built to be launched rather than thrust. Archaeologist John Shea, who has spent decades studying projectile technology, has argued this shift marks one of the most important cognitive leaps in human prehistory. Throwing accurately demands something thrusting doesn't. It demands you calculate trajectory, timing, and distance in a split second before the weapon even leaves your fingers. That's not muscle memory. That's math your brain is doing without you realizing it. Once humans could kill from a distance, the entire risk of hunting flipped. You no longer needed to wrestle an animal to the ground. You needed patience, coordination, and precision. But distance still wasn't distance enough. A thrown spear might travel 20, maybe 30 meters with real force. Impressive. Still not safe. So humans built a machine to extend their own arm, the Atlatl, a spear thrower. Essentially a stick with a hook on one end that cradles the base of a dart. When you throw, it acts like a lever, adding length and whip to your motion. The result? Darts traveling over 100 meters, with enough force to punch through the hide of a mammoth. A hunter, standing far enough away that the animal doesn't register them as a threat, launching a dart with the force of a small crossbow bolt, using nothing but wood, cord, and physics. This wasn't brute strength anymore. This was engineering. For the first time, a smaller, weaker human could take down prey that would have killed them in a hand-to-hand fight, every single time. Here's where the evidence gets even more surprising. At Sibudu Cave in South Africa, archaeologist Marlies Lombard has spent years analyzing microscopic damage on stone points, comparing wear patterns from spear thrusts, dart impacts, and arrow strikes. Her research points to bow and arrow technology in southern Africa dating back over 60,000 years, far earlier than many scientists once assumed. The bow and arrow, the final leap in this chain. Smaller points, lighter shafts, a weapon storing energy in bent wood and releasing it all at once. Faster than a thrown spear, deadlier than an Atlatl dart, silent enough to hunt animals that would flee at the first sign of danger. So picture a hunt 60,000 years ago, on the edge of a river valley. A small group moves in near total silence, spread just far enough apart to surround the herd without alerting it. No sudden movements, no spoken words, only hand signals passed man to man. When the moment comes, the bow bends, the string releases, and the arrow crosses the distance in under half a second. The animal barely has time to react before the hunt is already over. Compare that to a spear thrust from 3 feet away, and you start to understand why this technology spread so fast. But speed and distance weren't the only advantages. Think about the sound of a bow. Almost nothing. A soft snap of the string, a whisper of air. Compare that to the noise and chaos of a close-range chase, animals scattering, hunters shouting, hooves pounding the earth. Silence meant a single hunter could take a second shot before the herd even realized the first animal had fallen. Silence meant hunting parties could shrink, sometimes to just 1 or 2 people, without losing effectiveness. And smaller hunting parties changed everything downstream of the hunt itself. Fewer people meant less food had to be shared immediately. It meant groups could split up, cover more territory, and return with meat far more reliably than a single high-risk mammoth chase that might fail 9 times out of 10. There's also the question of the animals themselves. Distance weapons opened up prey that close-range hunting simply couldn't touch. Birds. Fast, alert antelope species. Animals that would bolt at the first hint of danger, long before a spear-wielding hunter ever got close enough to strike. Suddenly, an entire menu of previously untouchable food sources became available, and diets that had once depended on large, dangerous game began to diversify. Here's the twist nobody expects. Better weapons didn't just make hunting more successful. They made it safer, and that safety may have quietly reshaped human society itself. When hunting no longer required physical dominance, when a smaller hunter with a well-made dart could bring down the same prey as the strongest man in the group, the pressure that had shaped human bodies for millions of years started to ease. Some researchers connect the rise of projectile weapons to a gradual decline in extreme upper body strength differences among early hunters, since raw power mattered less when the tool did more of the work. At the same time, distance weapons demanded something new: coordination. A thrown spear is a solo decision. A successful ambush with atlatls or a coordinated bow hunt requires planning and trust between people who each hold a specific role. Someone drives the herd. Someone waits. Someone strikes. The weapon didn't just kill more efficiently. It forced humans to cooperate more precisely, to plan several steps ahead, and to communicate before a single move was made. Some anthropologists argue this same demand, the planning, the patience, the shared strategy, pushed language and social structure forward just as much as any single tool. Isn't it strange to think a sharpened stick might have shaped the way you talk to your coworkers today? There's a reason so many hunter-gatherer languages studied by anthropologists contain rich, specific vocabulary for describing animal tracks, wind direction, and terrain. That kind of vocabulary doesn't emerge by accident. It emerges because survival depended on communicating precise, detailed information quickly, often in near silence, often under pressure. A pointed finger, a specific hand shape, a single whispered word carrying an entire plan. The weapon demanded the language. The language, in turn, made the weapon even more effective. And once that loop existed, planning ahead, communicating precisely, cooperating toward a shared goal, it didn't stay confined to hunting. It spread into how groups negotiated conflict, raised children, and passed down knowledge from one generation to the next. You don't hunt for dinner anymore. You order it or buy it wrapped in plastic from a climate-controlled store. But the instinct that built the Atlatl, the drive to reduce risk, extend reach, and plan ahead before acting, never left you. It's the same instinct behind choosing preparation over impulse, strategy over brute force. Every time you plan before you act, you're running the exact same software your ancestors debugged over hundreds of thousands of years. One sharpened stick, one balanced dart, one silent arrow at a time. You are standing in tall grass again. But this time, the animal never sees you coming.